Lesson 8 Starting a Chess Game, Opening Principles. Part 1, The Basics of Development and Queen Play in the Opening. Concepts, Developing Your Pieces. Rules of Piece Movement, Don't move the same piece twice. How to use and not use your queen in the opening. The most important rules to the opening. 1. Develop to develop 3 and develop. Pieces get bored on their original squares. Development literally means to improve by expanding. To develop your pieces in chess is to activate them, expanding your position by moving each piece off of its original square and into the game. Arguably the most important thing a chess player needs to know is that he/she cannot win without using the strength of the entire army. Though we will talk more about all the ways to develop, where to put your pieces, and which ones to develop first in part 2. All you need to know for now is that getting your pieces out and into the game is a super smart move. The first step to winning every chess game is development. Complete your development. An example of super development. As we saw in diagram 1, your pieces will grow bored at home, quickly become very lazy. No king likes a lazy workforce. Since we know the best chessman is an active and fighting chessman, we should now realize that getting our pieces out first and as quickly as possible is very smart. A lead in development means that you have more pieces taking part in the game than your opponent. If a player is behind in development, that means he/she has more pieces sitting at home and less pieces developed in the game. Here our example shows the white pieces with a huge lead in development over the black pieces. Copyright chesskid.com, page 1 of 9. Lesson 8. Rule number 4. Don't move the piece twice in the opening, or at least your first 7 moves. All the minor pieces are in the game. Our fourth rule, immediately following the basic concept of developing your pieces, is a tip that goes hand in hand with good development principles. Before moving the piece a second time in the opening, not 1, not 2, not 3, but all of your minor knights and bishops pieces should be developed and working together in battle. In our example diagram to rule number 4, we see good development for both white and black. Though we have not officially transitioned into a middle game until the rooks are connected, see part 2 with a good development strategy. All the minor pieces should be playing by move 7. Moving the piece twice, the exception to the rule. When free material is offered, we can put our principles aside. For h4 wins immediately. Though we must always be careful when finding exceptions to very sound, very important principles. As with every rule, there will be opportunities to break it with good reason. Here we have provided a simple example designed to show exactly in what type of position you might need to do so. Though it is a little obvious, and perhaps too easy, the point is made. You should consider moving the piece twice whenever a large amount of material can be won. White plays for h4, winning the queen and likely the game. The same idea might apply if another piece was undefended and free for the capture. In chess terms, these types of easily won pieces are known as hanging or loose. Rule number 5, keep your queen safe. Don't let mama play with the kids. As powerful as she is, Big Mama should not play with the kids. Lesson May 7th have left the false impression that to bring your queen out early for a chance at a quick mate is a bulletproof plan. Though it is necessary for every chess player to know the basic checkmates, it isn't necessary that every player practice bringing their queen out early. Normally an early development of the queen leads to disaster. Because the queen is worth so much more than the minor pieces, getting mixed up with the little guys early is very risky for the first lady. Most chess coaches will strongly oppose this idea. One example is 1e4 d5 trying to bring the queen out aggressively to xd5 qxd5 3 nc3 qg5 for nf3 qc5 5 d4 qc6 bb5, winning the queen. Copyright chesskid.com, page 2 of 9. Lesson 8 Starting a Chess Game, Opening Principles. Part 2, Advanced Development, Controlling the Center, Connecting the Rooks, and Playing with Purpose. Concepts, Developing your pieces, toward the center and with purpose. Getting castled and connecting the rooks before move 10. Developing with a plan and purpose, creating and defending threats. Advanced Development, Principle 1. Develop toward and control the center. e4, d4, e5 and d5 are the most important squares to control in the center. With the basic concepts of development understood, it is important to learn the when, where and why we should develop our pieces. The most important area of the board to control, whether by physical occupation of the pieces or by threats, is the center of the board. Beginners should memorize it. Pieces do better in the center. By placing each piece on random squares, one at a time, and then counting the number of squares they attack, it doesn't take long to realize that a knight, bishop, and every other piece controls more space, or at least maintains more options of movement, when in the center of the board. The knight on the rim is where good pieces play in the center of the board. Here we see just how important the center is. Perhaps the piece that most obviously teaches us the importance of central control is the knight. Though all pieces are better when attacking from and toward the center, we see a huge difference between the knight on e5 and the knight on a1. In this position the e5 knight controls 8 squares, compared to 2 squares by its white counterpart. Also highlighted here is the amount of options the e5 knight has, with access to the king side, queen side and center areas of the board. In a middle game battle for example, options are very important in finding a good plan of attack. Copyright ChessKit.com page 3 of 9. Lesson 8. Advanced Development, Principle 2, Get your king safely out of the center. White's last move, 12.nf3 xe5 pawn would not have been possible without castling. Along with developing your pieces toward the center, getting castled should be on the top of your list. Castling is the most efficient way to safeguard your king, get your rooks into the game, and coordinate your army, all in one move. Castling is also one of the final steps toward completing your development and the opening stage. As the center becomes the main battlefield, it makes perfect sense to exit with the king, while entering with a rook. As we see in our example position from the Gyuako piano opening in the game Krampnik Krasenkovic game Z2003, if the e1 rook and the g1 king switched places, white would be in serious trouble with an unprotected knight and an exposed e-file. Advanced Development, Principle 3, Get castled and connect rooks by move 10. Black just played 11. bb7, the rooks connect. This advanced principle can serve as a good insurance plan in case you start following the rules of development but somehow decide to get lazy along the way. Your plan of development isn't complete until you get castled and your rooks are connected. If you read between the lines, what does it mean if your rooks are connected? It means you have 1. Developed all your minor pieces, 2. Gotten castled, and 3. Finally brought your queen out to a more active though hopefully safe square. If you have connected your rooks, then you have likely completed the first stage of the game, the opening, and are now preparing to play the middle game. Good job! Great chess players castle to checkmate. Castle and checkmate. To castle or not to castle is not a question. For great chess players, like this game between Edward Lasker and Sir George Thomas, London 1912, castling is always in the works. Here the position is white to play and checkmate in one move. Can you see it? 18.000 is checkmate, so what's 18.kd2? With white's last move 17.rh to check, forcing the black king to g1, the final blow is delivered with style. Though the chess player will not always deliver checkmate when castling, he or she is almost always headed in the right direction. Copyright ChessKit.com page 4 of 9. Lesson 8. Advanced Principles, Develop with a Purpose. The Ruy Lopez or Spanish game Every move has a specific threat or idea. Though there are many great games and opening variations that can teach you how to develop with a plan and purpose on at every move, one of the most common, and perhaps most important, for beginning chess players is the Ruy Lopez or Spanish game. A favorite opening choice of many great world champions, including Bobby Fischer and Garry Kasparov, the Ruy Lopez defines developing with a plan on at every move. 1. E4 E5, both moves attack the center. 2. Nf3, attacking the E5 pawn. 2. NC6, defending the E5 pawn. 3. BB5, attacking the C6 knight 2. Also defends the E5 pawn. Continues. Advanced Principles, Develop with a Purpose. The Ruy Lopez or Spanish game QYUUUC has shown, attacking or defending your center is key with at every move. 3. A6, attacking the B5 bishop. 4. A4, defending the bishop and maintaining pressure on the C6 knight. If 4. Bx C6 dx C6 5. X5 QD4. 6. Nf3 kicks 4 plus wins back the pawn with check. 4. Nf6, Attacking white c4 pawn. 5.020. Safeguarding the king and indirectly defending the e5, pawn to 2-5 x4 being mared by 6. Re1. Attacking every piece along the e-file. And the game continues with more moves of specific purpose. As a chess player improves, and using all the pieces is no longer a new concept, the most important thing to establish is that every developing move can and should create a threat or defend against an opponent's threat. Copyright Chesskit.com page 5 of 9. Lesson 8 Starting out a chess game, Opening Principles. Instructor's Guide. Though there are a number of different exercises that might help the beginning chess player learn the basic principles of the opening, the best way for someone to understand and apply these concepts is practical application. Time to play. Have your students play games against one another, and when a player loses a piece or even the game because of lack of development or failure to use all their pieces, point this out and remind the students that if their development had been completed, the rooks were connected, and their entire army was working together, that mistake might have been avoided. After learning the quickmates of Lesson 7 Part 1, beginning chess players will want to develop their queen soon and often. Therefore, it is important to teach your students how to prevent quick checkmate tricks with natural developing moves. This will combat the temptation to develop the queen early. Practical notes and advice. Lesson 8. To help your students understand the concept that each piece is more active and therefore more effective when placed in the center, place each piece in the center of the board and line up enemy pieces of the opposite color on squares that can be captured by that piece. Then do the same for a piece placed on the edge of the board. Students will quickly realize that a centrally located piece has a better chance of capturing enemy chessmen. Example: a knight in the center can capture up to 8 enemy pieces, while a knight on the edge captures less. A fun and direct way for students to learn the concepts of development and using their army is for coaches to have their students play practice games while monitoring them. 1. The coach can then walk by each game in progress. 2. If after 15 moves there still remains minor pieces on the back rank, simply take those pieces off of the board and tell the student that I, the coach, need them for my collection of unwanted pieces. 3. If the student objects, simply add, well, it didn't look like you were going to use them anyway. Copyright Chesskit.com page 6 of 9. Lesson 8 Lesson 8. Connect the rooks in each position. White wants to complete development by connecting the rooks in as few moves as possible. Write the number of moves it would take for the white rooks to see each other. As a bonus, draw arrows to show the moves white could make to get there. Develop and connect the rooks. How many moves? Underscore 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 develop and connect the rooks. How many moves? Underscore 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 develop and connect the rooks. How many moves? Underscore 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 develop and connect the rooks. How many moves? Underscore 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 Copyright Chesskit.com page 7 of 9. Lesson 8 Lesson 8. Counting development in each position. Circle the color of the player who is further ahead in development has moved more pieces off of their starting squares. Circle white black or equal, who has developed more pieces. White black 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 equal. Copyright Chesskit.com page 8 of 9. Lesson 8 Starting out a chess game, Opening Principles. Answer key. Worksheet page 1. Connect the rooks. Diagram number 1. 2 moves. 1 Q2 or D2 and 2.020 or 000 or 1.020 and 2 Q2 or D2. Diagram number 2. 2 moves. 1 D1Q develops and 2.020 or 000 or 1.020 and 2 D1Q develops. Diagram number 3. 3 moves. 1 and D2 or A3. 2 D1Q develops and 3.020 or 000 or reverse order. Diagram number 4. 4 moves. Develop B1N, C1B, D1Q and 020 or 000 or reverse order. Worksheet page 2. Counting development. Diagram number 1. Black. Diagram number 2. Equal. Diagram number 3. Black. Diagram number 4. White. Copyright Chesskit.com page 9 of 9.